Hey everyone. So Disney's Strange World recently showed up on Disney+. And if you're anything like me, you may have been debating whether you want to spend the time to see this movie. So on that topic, I just wanted to put out a quick non-spoiler review to let you know a little idea of what to expect from this film. So first off, the good. I do have to say, it did surprise me. The path this movie ended up taking literally surprised me with how it ended. Now for me, that's a positive. I enjoy not being able to predict the path a movie is going to go. And to be honest, once I figured out what was actually happening here, I felt a little silly for not seeing it before. There were signs leading up to it that I missed. But in the end, it did surprise me on what happened at the end. And it wasn't a surprise just for surprise's sake. This was something that they were intending to do. So to me, that's a positive. I like learning something new from the movie, seeing something I wasn't expecting. I also think it is a positive that there were some interesting concepts that were laid out in this movie. There were certain moments when something changed and it veered the course of the characters and or their civilization in a completely new direction. And it was something very different than what we experience in our real world. And so it was kind of fun to think through, okay, if we had access to this item or these items, if things changed in this way, how would that impact our lives? How would that impact the world around us? And so it was kind of fun to think through some of these concepts. And that's about where the good stops. So on to the bad. I said that this movie surprised me, and it did in the end. The course of the end of the movie, which is a non-spoiler review, so I won't tell you what happens, I didn't see that coming. But that was the only thing I didn't see coming. Most of the things that happened along the way felt very predictable. There was a lot of moments where a line was said, and I'm like, I know what that's setting up. There were times when if it starts getting too serious, I'm like, yeah, okay, they're going to throw in a joke to try and hedge their bets on this moment. There's a lot of dialogue that was said in this movie that I felt like I'd seen this movie before, which I know I haven't. So even though the ending was a surprise, the course of the movie was so predictable throughout that it was not as much fun as it could have been to watch. I also say about how there's some interesting concepts. The most interesting concept in the movie comes in, I'd say, the first 15 minutes, give or take. I feel like that was the best 15 minutes of the movie. I feel like after that concept and seeing, okay, how is this changing things? Well, there was nothing on that level the rest of the film. I feel like the rest of the movie, it really tries to lean into and almost be held up by the grandeur of what's happening around them, of what are they seeing. Look, isn't this beautiful? Look, isn't this interesting? I feel like they're trying to have that whole strangeness carry the weight of the film. Like they're expecting the audience to be wowed by these interesting things that they haven't seen before and kind of overlook the fact that the story is a little disjointed and there are parts of it that don't add up. Now, don't get me wrong, I did not dislike watching this movie. It's more of that it didn't feel like much new was happening in the course of entertainment. This felt in some ways very similar to other movies, and yet in some ways it felt like they were trying to make it new in some other ways. And the story itself, which is supposed to be so important, it just felt a little lacking to me. I didn't feel for these characters like they really should have been angry in a situation or should have been handling things in a certain way. The characters felt in some ways very two-dimensional, and so it was hard to relate to them on that deeper level. Now, there are some great things about the characters as well, but overall, I didn't feel like I got as much out of this movie as some of the other recent Disney movies that have come out. So in the end, the verdict, I feel like this movie was interesting, but in the end, it was skippable. I have two young children, ages 6 and ages 9, and I don't know that I'm going to be watching this movie with them. I feel like they can handle it. It's just that there are so many other Disney and Pixar movies that they haven't seen yet, that we still haven't introduced them to. And some of those older movies, they're just going to take precedence. Maybe someday they'll see this movie, but maybe not. And I feel like either way, I'm okay with it. I'm excited for a lot of things coming up for Disney and Pixar, but to me, I feel like this one, I'm okay if I never see it again. So my verdict is interesting concept, skippable movie. But if you disagree, let me know in the comments down below. If you feel like there's more to this movie, let people know, because everyone's entitled to their own opinions. I hope that there are people out there who found enjoyment in this movie, who loved it, who are grasping onto it, and that it has a positive impact. It's just, for me, I'm just going to wait for the next one. But that's just my input. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.